by the power of Grayskull.
That's a big Twinkie.
Everybody to another episode of the Cereal Box Price Podcast, the podcast that serves you three scoops of pop culture. And I'm your co-host, Steve Garcia, and I'm here with my other co-host, Aaron Smelter. Aaron, what's going on, man?
Not much. Just doing my best to survive the craziness that's going on out there.
Yes, we are still living in this pandemic that we call this COVID world, man. But today's is an episode where we are just reviewing the year that the whole world had, 2020. And we're not talking about, all the sad stuff. We're talking about, the stuff that we enjoyed in 2020, movies, TVs, video games, action figures. Oh, and we're going to get into action figures because that's like, Evan, as you know, that's our bread and butter right there. That's what we're really into, man. So, but anyways, man, first of all, how was your New Year? Happy New Year, man.
Happy New Year. Yeah, everything's going good. Very low key. No big New Year. Just low key with the family and group of friends, just the family that we've kind of seen during this pandemic, just it was weird. I mean, it was weird not having kind of that ring in the new year with all your friends and, have that, experience. But I had to work, which, always fun, working on New Year's. But no, you make the most of it. And, it was good. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of weird to see Times Square bare, like
yeah, that was so weird. It's funny that you said that, Aaron, because like I was actually during New Year's Eve, I was playing Gears of War 2 on Xbox 360 with my brother. We ended up beating the game. Then I go into my bedroom and I turn on, YouTube, and I didn't know that Times Square was still happening. But it's funny because when they showed Times Square and they panned out on that wide shot, like aerial shot, and I'm like, right. There's like nobody over there but like two cops like blocking, and it was all like first responders that were down there. And by the way, did you see the musical acts they had?
I watched a few, but like I was not impressed.
like you can tell we're living in a pandemic world that no famous musician wanted to go up there and perform. They actually got a band, like these regular four dudes that play in Central Park, just regular dudes to come and perform for like the Times Square show. And I'm just like, this is where we got in with COVID. We're like, hey man, who are you, the garbage man? And what, you play the saxophone? Man, get up on stage.
But you got to stretch it, you got to, because I mean, there's not a lot of artists that want to kind of do that stuff right now because they're not trying to get bad PR or, trying not to, expose themselves. I know a lot of musical artists have kind of thrived during this time because they've been, at home with their families or at home with, nothing to do. And it's like, well, what am I going to do? I don't know. Let's go record, and, I've heard a lot of new music that's come out this year. That's kind of one thing that's like, it's like, all right, people are just pumping out new music because they got, nothing else to do,
No, yeah. And, it's funny that like, I read that people were able to stay creative and create content like throughout this pandemic. And this is the way this podcast started. It was just like, hey, this is going on. We started this show in June, and next year in June will be a year of us doing this because, hey, why not put something out there to make people happy,
Sure.
And talking about pop culture and toys and geeking out and having nerdgasms. This is what we love. We love this stuff. But yeah, man, I'm glad that you had a great, safe, and happy New Year with your family. So that's good, bro.
Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, so I don't know if I told you, I ended up picking up an Xbox 360 on Facebook Marketplace.
Nice.
And I bought it for like $10, but here's the bad part. So I was so excited that I didn't tell the seller if he tested out the system.
Ooh.
So when I got the system and I paid him for it, and I got back home and I connected it, it had the red ring of death.
Ooh.
Oh man, you know what's that movie? With the machine that was like in space and it talked. It kind of took over and it was like, "Yes, Mr. Johnson."
Oh, 2001: Space Odyssey.
Yeah. Every time I
Yeah.
see that red ring of death, it reminds me of that machine like talking.
I can't do that, Hal.
Xbox, what's wrong with you? You cannot play Gears of War.
I cannot turn on Steve.
Yeah, man. So like, long story short, I called every retro gaming store to find like the that big brick that it looks like you're gonna do a Kung Fu Mortal Kombat bonus stage like break.
Yeah.
Like none of these retro gaming stores had it. Like I could not find it. So my last option was this. I'm gonna plug this place called Game Zone in Salem, New Hampshire. Thank you, Game Zone, for hooking me up. They actually had the plug, but the guy, the owner, there was a video game documentary called Not for Resale, and he was in that documentary. So I started telling him like, "Hey, weren't you in that documentary Not for Resale?" He's like, "Oh yeah, did you see it? Did you see?" He got so excited. I was like, "Oh yeah, I got a podcast." He's like, "You have a podcast? Oh man, what's the website for the podcast?" So we started talking back and forth.
Nice.
And really nice guy hooked me up. Like literally, it was cheap. It was like $50, brand new Xbox, controllers, wires, like literally like brand new, man.
Right.
And he gave me a deal. And it's funny because I went across the street to buy a cup of coffee with my buddy, and he took $5 off. He's like, "I'll pay for the coffee." You
Nice.
know, so like I want to give Game Zone a plug. Game Zone, thank you very much for hooking me up. Really appreciate it. For all you listeners, if you're around the Massachusetts, New England area, check out Game Zone in Salem, Mass, man, for all your retro video game needs. But yeah, man, that's what I did. I ended up just like playing Gears of War 2 and beating the game, man. Because I bought all four of them for like $1 at GameStop. So
Yeah.
So that was my New Year's. Not bad. So
Cool.
just beating video games. But yeah, man. So like we're getting into like this 2020 year in review, and there's so much I want to talk about. Aaron, my mind is like racing right now. There's just so much that happened in 2020, man. So let's get into TV shows. Now, I got 2 TV shows that I think for me. One of them came out 2-3 years ago, but these 2 were my favorites. I don't know if you have these 2, if you're thinking about the same thing that I'm thinking about, but I want to hear from you. What were the shows, or what 2 shows for TV in 2020 were your favorite?
Well, I mean, I may be a little bit biased, but I think, the first one has to be The Mandalorian. I mean,
Yes.
the Mandalorian with everything, all the kind of struggles of trying to film during this. I think they were wrapping up the end of season 2 when the coronavirus kind of started, and I can only imagine how like trying to film like a blockbuster TV show, TV show for Disney Plus in that magnitude, and trying to do that, you have more money than you know what to do with, so you have a lot of resources, but still trying to keep everybody safe, trying to keep it to the quality that you're used to. Like you have all these challenges because you want to make sure that none of your actors get sick or anything like that. So, but the way that they pulled it out, the way that it was so cool to experience watching that with my family. My son really got into it. My wife got into it, and it was really just, it drove home kind of like that really good, wholesome TV, that was just, there's no cussing, there's no, sure, there's a little bit of violence because it's a, space drama, but like, my 6-year-old enjoyed the hell out of it. Yes, I have a 6-year-old now. My son just turned 6 on the 27th of December.
Oh, nice. Happy birthday.
Yeah. Happy belated birthday to Colin. But you know, it's kind of cool to experience that, you know, family kind of, you know, like you and I talked about before, sitting in, you know, the den, you got like 5 channels to watch, maybe TGIF comes on, you know, or Snick or whatever you watched back in the day, and you're sitting in the, you know, the living room with your family and watching a show. It was like every Friday. Okay, boom, you know, let's turn on Disney Plus and watch The Mandalorian. So that was number 1 for me. Number 2, we were kind of bantering back and forth before the podcast, you know, is Cobra Kai.
Those are my top 2 shows. I knew we had to see, this is why we get along so perfect, Aaron. You great minds think alike. So.
Yeah, I mean, Cobra Kai just hit the home run. I didn't watch it when it was on YouTube Red. I wanted a YouTube Red subscription just to watch it, but I couldn't justify it. It was just like, what am I going to do? Like, I probably should have just bought it like most people do. You buy the subscription, you get the free month, binge it, and then cancel the subscription. You know?
Yeah.
I think that's what a lot of people did with Disney Plus, actually. Like,
yes.
When Mandalorian first came down, it's like, okay, I'm watching The Mandalorian. Okay, canceling Disney Plus, and then when the second season comes out, I'll re-up again.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. Me and you had the same shows, and like Mandalorian. Going back to the Mandalorian before we get into Cobra Kai, man, that show. Listen, I feel like Jon Favreau just balanced the whole Star Wars universe. Like this show made everything wrong in the Star Wars universe right. I mean, like, first of all, you have big time directors coming to direct the shows. You have Robert Rodriguez did the episode with Boba Fett was just smashing stormtroopers like to bits, and you could tell because that's that Robert Rodriguez style. Mm-hmm. Then you had what's his name? Was it Kyle Reese? Is that his name? No, the guy that played in Rocky. Rocky's he's in The Mandalorian. He ended up directing an episode himself also. Right. So he did an episode. I mean, like, he's bringing all these directors. Like, you got all these directors lined up. They want to direct a Mandalorian episode, and that's how big it is. Not only that, but man,
Carl Weathers.
Yes, Carl Weathers. Yeah. He actually directed one of the episodes himself. I mean, Carl Weathers, Rocky? Yeah. Rocky is directing Star Wars. Like, it's just like amazing, man. Apollo. Apollo stepping into the ring with a stormtrooper. Like, you know, like it's just awesome, man. And then that last episode was just, listen, Aaron, I'm gonna say this, man, and this is not for me to be not sexist, okay? For all the females listening out there, I'm just gonna say this. That last episode, I was screaming like a girl at her first night at the prom. It had me on the edge of my seat, man. Like not knowing who the Jedi was, because remember when Grogu, or AKA Baby Yoda, was signaling up in the roof, like in the mountains, like he was trying to search for a Jedi, and we didn't know, was it Ahsoka Tano or was it Kyle Reese from the video game, from the Jedi Fallen Order game? Mm-hmm. A lot of people thought that he was going to be the one to come and save, was the dude from the Jedi Fallen Order game, and then we see it's the man himself, Luke Skywalker, and it was like, oh my god, like, how did you feel when you saw that? Like,
well, it was cool. The CGI was a little weird, you know, but because I didn't know. You know, I think a lot of us as fans were trying to piece, when is this taking place? Because the first 2 seasons, you know, up until that last episode, and you saw young Luke, you know, Return of the Jedi Luke, so you knew it was after that, you know, and you didn't know when this like era was. You could kind of guess, you know, you knew the Empire was still around, but you didn't, you know, it was post Empire, but pre New Republic, you know, like so like you knew it was before the new movies 7, 8, and 9, but you know, you just didn't know when, you know, and so like it was just kind of cool that when this, it was like, all right, it's Luke Skywalker, and you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
And like, it's funny because I'm like, okay, who's got a green lightsaber, and I'm running through my head, and I'm like, but all right, okay, could it have got passed on? What's going on? Like, who is it? And then I saw the glove, and when you saw the glove, I was like, oh shit, it's Luke, and so it was definitely cool. But I'm glad that that's going to kind of be the timeline. And then did you I'm sure you've seen it, but there was that little bonus clip.
Oh, the after credits.
The after credits clip.
Yes.
That one.
That was what? When Boba Fett went into Jabba's little palace.
Yeah, he freaking killed Bib Fortuna, and but then took Jabba's throne. But and then it's like the tales of Boba Fett are going to be next year, and that was fantastic because as we talked about this last time. As somebody that read the books and like the extended universe, there's a whole story about Boba Fett and the guild and all this other stuff. And so like you're like, okay, this is like finally somebody took the extended universe stuff, kind of took the Disney stuff and mashed it together and said, all right, here we go. We're gonna this is for the fans,
Oh, I am listen, they can take now Star Wars wherever they want right now.
Yeah.
Now, listen, this is just me saying this, so the audience listening right now, like, this is not what Disney's trying to do. But what I think they're doing is they're going to tell the Boba Fett tale. Then they might tell the Obi-Wan tale. They're going to tell all these tales. The Mandalorian's going to come back for season 3. And everything that's going on, it's all happening at the same time. And something major is going to happen where everybody's going to have to come together for this one epic event.
It's going to be the Avengers all over again.
Yes! It's the Marvel Cinematic Star Wars universe. And of course, Jon Favreau, who was part of Iron Man and all those movies, he's part of Marvel already. So maybe that's what he was thinking. He's going to create the Avengers of Star Wars.
Yeah. I'm looking online, because I've remembered some, but I forgot others. It says upcoming Disney Plus shows for Star Wars. Here's what's coming: The Mandalorian season 3.
Yep.
Which we knew about. The Tales of Boba Fett. Andor, which was a Rogue One prequel series.
Yep.
You got Obi-Wan Kenobi, who I saw a clip of Ewan McGregor the other day, and it kind of gave me chills because Ewan McGregor is the best Obi-Wan Kenobi by far.
Yeah.
And, he goes, I will be back to play Obi-Wan. And it was like, finally, they got that right. They're making an Ahsoka spinoff. Rangers of the New Republic, which I'm not sure. It says it's set within the timeline of The Mandalorian. So maybe it's like a Cara Dune spinoff. Star Wars The Bad Batch, which is like a continuation of the Clone Wars, which is fantastic.
Nice.
The Acolyte, which it says it's the final days of the High Republic era, which I'm guessing that's based off of a lot of the video games. Yeah. And then they're going to make a Lando spinoff, potentially with Donald Glover.
Oh my God.
So you might be right. They might be kind of, this is like the Avenger. You got Lando, you got you got the Mandalorian, you got all these people,
I am salivating through my mouth right now. I'm salivating like a little kid at a barbecue seeing an ice cream cone. I cannot wait. Like, oh my God, like Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, like Disney hit it off the park because one of the things with Disney Plus and a lot of the controversy about the streaming service was like, okay, Disney's cool. We got Pixar, we got Marvel. But what people were complaining about, and if a lot of people don't know this, is that Disney owns films, they own Dimension Films, they own all these separate companies, which they own Aliens. They own all these adult Predator, like all these adult-oriented films. So people are like, well, why can't we get those adult-oriented, action-packed films on Disney Plus? And I just read that Disney is trying to have a separate section just for adults on their streaming service when it comes to those alien movies, when it comes to all that. And I think that's going to make a big difference in their subscription service.
Well, yeah, especially if it's something that is not going to be streamed anywhere else. Like Netflix just lost The Office, which I think is going to lose a lot of subscribers because some subscribers, bought Netflix because I know people. I like The Office. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not a diehard watch it every day. I know some people that have watched the series 5, 6, 7, 8 times, like over and over and over again. So like that went to Peacock. So like I think that if Disney does it right and says, okay, here's exclusive content or exclusive movies that you can only get on Disney Plus. You can't get them on Hulu. You can't get them on Netflix. You can't get them. And I think that's, just like we saw with the production studios back in the day, it seems like the streaming services now, like HBO Max and Wonder Woman, right? They got exclusive rights. Okay, you can buy Wonder Woman for $30 and stream it at your house, or buy an HBO Max subscription for a couple dollars and get Wonder Woman.
Speaking of Wonder Woman,
I didn't watch it yet. I heard too many bad things about it. I didn't watch it.
I'm not gonna call it Wonder Woman. I'm gonna call it Underwoman. Oh man.
Yeah, I saw a couple of the CGIs that things that went awry, and I haven't seen it yet, but I think going back on that though, it's this is like the WWF back in the day and WCW. It's just you're gonna who's got the better content? This month it's going to be this person. This month it's going to be Hulu. This month it's going to be Netflix. This month, it's going to bounce back and forth. But eventually, I think people are going to get tired out because it's like, oh God, okay, I really want to watch this show, but it's a Disney Plus exclusive, or I really want to watch this show, or it's a Hulu exclusive.
Right.
And maybe I should make this deal with you now. Like, I'll get Disney Plus and Netflix, you get Hulu and Peacock and whatever else, and we'll change passwords.
Hey, you can use my password anytime, man. It is all good, because that's exactly what we're leading to. It's like so many streaming services just to get all these exclusive things, man.
Right.
But oh man, there's so much to talk about. Now my mind's going crazy because now I want to bash Wonder Woman right now.
No, this is a year review. We're not bashing anything.
Okay, you're right. Let me not bash.
Hey, we need to go with the 2021 positive.
That's right. Patty Jenkins did. She tried. She did. She is doing Star Wars Squadron though. She is directing that film. So hopefully, But yeah, definitely Mandalorian was a great show on Disney Plus. And you mentioned Cobra Kai, man. What can I say about Cobra Kai, man? Like, listen, for them to take a property that's what, 33, 34 years old, Karate Kid, 34, 35 years old, like
84. No, 36.
36. A property that's 36 years old, whereas even teenagers from now didn't grow up with it, but they can take those characters from 36 years ago and make them reminisce like they never went away, and like to see Daniel LaRusso and all the villains and everybody's back, and the way they're intertwining the story and everybody's coming together, it's an amazing show. And just like you, Aaron, like I didn't go to YouTube Red to watch it.
Right.
Like I can't stop on Netflix, but oh my God. And you just finished season 3.
I did. I binged the shit out of
it. You went all out. You just sat there with a bag of popcorn and just went through it.
Well, and that's the cool thing about, how the way Netflix does it versus the way, Disney Plus did it. Disney Plus was releasing Mandalorian every Friday. It was like, okay, here's 10 Fridays or 8 Fridays, however many episodes there were. Okay, you got 2 months worth of content. Netflix goes, boom, here you go. have all 10 episodes episodes right now, and I like it that way. But at the same time, it's like I like now I gotta wait till next year, for season 4, and it's like, okay, what do you do? Like, how do you fill that void in the meantime? But no, season 3 was phenomenal. I'm not no spoilers, nothing. My lips are sealed. But it was good. And just like you said, they're bringing back characters that we loved in the movies. And again, it's just I want to say so much, but I can't. Because I know you have much to say.
But you know what? Let's talk about a little bit about the show in season 2 because what's his name? Robbie, the kid that plays Robbie. Robbie, the kid, the character,
right.
The blonde kid. It's so funny because like I love the show. I love it, but it's funny how good these kids get. Like they're like black belts in like 2 or 3 days of training. Like I'm just like, oh. He's a black belt already. Like he can fight like 20 dudes at the same time, Jackie Chan style. Like,
but think about that for a second though too, because like when in the first movie when Mr. Miyagi signs Daniel up, he just gives him the black belt at the table, and he's like, "Oh, what belt is he? Oh, black belt. Yes, he's black belt." But like. Daniel wasn't a black belt, he'd been doing some crane kicks and some balancing and whatever, but like he wasn't a black belt. But so it's kind of, I don't know if maybe like you said, like that they kind of fast tracked them, but like the Miyagi-Do way of doing things is that all right, you're good in a couple weeks.
You know what? Not for nothing. I did Taekwondo from the age of 16 till 18. So it took me 3 years to get my first degree black belt in Taekwondo when I was a teenager. So it's funny that in like, I don't know, in 2 hours.
Yeah. It's the Miyagi-Do way, man.
Hey, Aaron, we're doing this all wrong. We need to go join the Miyagi-Do way and like become black belts.
Do some kata and so,
Hey, but how awesome was the high school scene? And season 2, the fight scene. Oh my God! Even what was it? The guy that was the hall monitor.
Oh, Stingray. Stingray was the shit, man. I wasn't sure about his character at the beginning of season 2. At the end of season 2, I was like, hell yeah! Like that dude's my boy. Like, hold on, I'll take care of this, sir. And he just starts freaking.
Man, he was going ham. Like he was throwing like kids left and right.
That was the best job interview ever.
Not for nothing, but if that was real life, like, damn, that would be a lot of assault and battery charges. Like
on minors.
Sir, you do know that you beat up 4 kids, and they're under the age 16, right?
Oopsie.
Oh my God! But man, the way Miguel landed on that bar at the end, man, it's funny. Because that's something that could happen in the real world if you're fighting somebody. Like somebody can get seriously hurt like that. And the way I haven't seen season 3 yet, but from watching the trailer, it looks like Robbie got charges or got in trouble for hurting him for falling into that. So so I mean, like no spoilers. When we're not talking about season 3 here. But yeah, man, I gotta say, like Cobra Kai and just the whole show, and Daniel LaRusso and the way him and like his villain, what's his name, the arch guy that
Johnny Lawrence.
Johnny Lawrence, man, him and Johnny Lawrence, man, it's this love-hate relationship where like they want to help each other, but they're on 2 different paths. But Johnny knows that what Daniel was saying is right. Oh, it's like yin and yang, man. Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of symbolism in a lot of the shows. I mean, like there was symbolism in the movie too, but the white gi, the black gi, the good versus evil, the yin and the yang, and there's still in season 3 and on all the seasons there is a lot of symbolism if you really pay attention. Like they are still hitting those kind of points of like, all right, we need to make sure that this is still relevant. And I mean, I think I was telling my wife the other day, because I just binged the shit out of season 3, And what is it? The third, I'm done with it. 3 days, I'm done. That it just brought back so many good memories. Like, I mean, and that's what the show does. Like, because us in our 30s, late 30s, early 40s, like Karate Kid was like this movement.
Yeah.
It was. I can't even imagine how many like dojos opened up after the Karate Kid, happened. I mean, it made karate cool, and like I just remember watching that, over and over and over again, especially 2 and 3 when I was younger. 3 I watched 3 all the time, and Silver was by far like one of my favorite characters. I just, and so it was just one of those things that, like, as you're watching season 1, season 2, season 3, you're just like, man, like, it just brings back this, like, waves of emotion. And you're like, oh, shit, I remember that, or I remember this. And, I think that, like, they're doing it right. And now that Netflix has it, like we talked about earlier, you got the money, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, it's so true, man. They're really knocking it out of the park, man. And it's just like, it's true what you said about binge watching, what you said earlier, Aaron. It's like, you can't stop. It's like opening a bag of Pringles and you just can't eat one. like you gotta keep going. Like,
yeah.
It's that finger licking good.
I love that analogy. That's the best analogy ever. That little do you want to keep watching pops up and the scroll starts on the bottom of the screen and you're like, yes, please.
It's funny, it's like all your friends are asking about you, like, hey, has anybody seen Aaron? It's been like a week.
You're in the cave with like your hood up,
You just have like this long Fu Manchu like white beard.
You got bags under your eyes, you're like, yeah, I'm fine. Leave me alone. I'm watching Cobra Kai.
Oh man, that's what I love about binge watching, man. But yeah, me and you have the both shows for 2020 that we love, and that was like Mandalorian and Cobra Kai. But man, and this is a great segue into movies. And we just mentioned Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
All right. Now, Aaron, 2020 was a crazy year for films because, like, as you and me know, theaters couldn't be open due to COVID.
Right.
And a lot of like studios had to send all their films into streaming servers. Mm-hmm. And one of the biggest things that just happened was, and I don't know if you read about this, I think you have, Aaron, was that HBO Max just said that every single movie that was supposed to come out in theaters, it's going to be streaming on HBO Max. Now, we got the Mortal Kombat movie coming out. It's already done filming. We got Mortal Kombat, we got Kong vs. Godzilla, we got a couple other movies coming, and all right, I'm going to say this. A lot of people I've had this conversation with where they're like, well, I don't care about watching it at home. At least I can pause it. I can go grab a drink. I can go do this.
Yeah.
And I get that, and I love that too. But, like, to not have Godzilla and Kong fight in a giant screen with surround sound where I can sit there and watch it, it doesn't matter the biggest screen that I get in my house. It doesn't matter how much surround things that I get in my place. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to have that movie theater going experience.
Yeah.
And I don't know how you feel about that.
Well,
I don't know what were you saying.
I don't know. I mean, I like movie theaters, and maybe this is where we differ. I like movie theaters. I like the ambiance of the movie theater. I just don't like paying freaking $20 for a ticket.
Yeah, they're expensive. Yeah,
because you go there and it's like, you want to treat yourself. Okay, I'm gonna get some popcorn and a soda. That's another $30. Yep. And it's like, all right, shit. By the time you just want to watch a movie, it's like you're already dropping, $50, $60, $70.
You're right. You're right.
Oh, you want to splurge and get yourself a nice beer or a tasty beverage? Oh, it's like going to a concert. All right, $12 for a beer. Yeah. It's like, come on. So, like, I don't know. This is kind of a different way of thinking, but like, the Atlanta Falcons, when they made their stadium, they wanted to make it so that a family could go to the football and enjoy football for what, for a working man's wage, and so they said that the concession prices, like hot dogs would be like $1.50, sodas, would be refillable for $4, like they made it so that you could go to a football game. Yeah, you might have to pay a little bit more for a ticket, but you can enjoy yourself while you're there. Beers were $5. The prices weren't inflated, because that's how all these people are making their money. Like, sure, the movie companies, that are releasing the films, they get a majority of the ticket sales. So the movie theaters themselves have to make their money, which they make off of concessions. So, I enjoyed the movie-going experience. I enjoyed the booms and the bangs and the big screen and everything like that. But part of me is like, well, shit, I could pay for the movie or an HBO Max subscription for a few dollars a month and watch the movies in the comfort of my own home. You don't have to deal with cell phones. You don't have to deal with babies crying. You don't have to deal with, people being rude. Hey, you're in my... here's my pet peeve. You got two armrests. Somebody sitting next to you. How do you share the armrest? Is it whoever's sitting there first gets the armrest? Because I remember I used to sit there and I used to be like this, like okay, all right, cool. Oh, you're here? Yep, I'm already here. Sorry, like. But then you get up to go to the bathroom, and then that person reclaims the armrest.
Yes, man.
I mean, like, I don't know. Like, there's certain part of the movies that I miss, but there's part of the movies that I'm not going to miss.
Right. Man, you hit up on a lot of good points, too, Aaron, because, listen, everything you said is true because, me and my little brother, if it's me, my brother, and my other brother and his wife, like, it'll be like $65.
Yeah. Just
for all of us to go to the theaters, and I don't remember us when we were kids, theaters being $16 a ticket. They used to be like even $7 when I was a kid. Yeah. Like $7.25 or something like that. And then like prices just inflated. And I get people where it's like, well, you know what? If I'm already paying for a subscription, then let me see these Hollywood movies like right here. Now, the only problem is that Legendary Pictures, who put up 80% of the film budget for Kong versus Godzilla, they're depending on those ticket sales to make their money back. And what a lot of people don't know is that Warner Brothers, who owns HBO Max, behind the back of Legendary Pictures and behind the back of AMC Theaters, they ended up making this decision on their own without talking to them. Yeah. So right now you have directors, the studio owners of Legendary Pictures, and AMC Theaters bashing and telling Warner Brothers, like, hey, listen, if you guys are going to do this, you have to give us some sort of money from your pay subscriptions then. Because AMC's like, okay, then we're going to be out of commission if you guys don't, because you just pulled out all the movies that we were going to have in theaters, and you made this choice to pull them all out without letting us know. Same thing with Legendary Pictures. I mean, Aaron, that's like me making Spider-Man 10. You give me the $50 million to make the movie. Right. You're expecting to make that money or more back because you're expecting it to be in theaters. Then I go behind your back and I'm like, hey, you know what? No, I'm just going to stream this.
Right. Well, it's so there's a lot of dynamics, right?
Yeah, it's like...
And I think, I don't know, so Disney, I'm going to go back to Disney Plus for a second. Yeah. Because Mulan, right?
Right.
So Disney Plus was like, hey, we're going to release Mulan. If you want to watch it first, you have a Disney Plus subscription for $8, $9 a month, whatever it is now. But if you want to watch Mulan, you got to pay an extra $25. Right? Right. So, like, you could still watch it, but you have to pay the money. This is how I see it going. Back when the pandemic first started, I think the first movie, quote me if I'm wrong, to do this was the Scooby-Doo movie.
Yes, you're right.
The Scooby-Doo movie was the first movie that went straight to TVs.
Yes.
And I bought it for my son, and it was like $25. We own it. It's like, it wasn't like you watch it once, and when you press that button on your remote, you own it. He could watch it. He could watch it right now if he wanted to. And we bought it back in May or whatever it was. And like that was kind of the coolest experience for me, as like, oh shit, this is a movie that was supposed to be in theaters. I'm pressing a button at my house and it's on my TV. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now we own it. It's not like, because like, okay, going back to like when we watch Transformers or, Cobra Kai, or not Cobra Kai, Karate Kid, Star Wars, for the first time, you watched it once, but you went home and you're like, wow, that movie was freaking awesome. I'm going to watch it again. Well, you got to pay another $7.95, or you got to pay another, $6.50 or whatever the ticket prices were at that time. Yeah. Now you press one button, you own it. I don't know, but I think that's how the companies like you said, that Legendary Pictures, that's how they're going to want to make their money. Okay, HBO Max, you can have it. Okay, Hulu, whatever, you can have it. You have the rights, but your customers still have to pay for the movie. Because the streaming service that is streaming it, they're already making their money hand over fist because of the people that are paying for their subscriptions. But Disney, because I know Disney put a hell of a lot of money in Mulan, and they were like, how are we going to get this money back? Well, we're going to charge you. You can watch it, but you have to pay another $25 or whatever it was at the time to watch Mulan.
Right. Yeah, man. And this is going to segue into Wonder Woman. So Wonder Woman was for free on HBO Max for 31 days.
Right.
So you had to watch. You have 31 days to watch Wonder Woman 84 on HBO Max. So on Christmas Day, you had Wonder Woman 84 and you had Pixar Soul. By the way, amazing movie. Really great Pixar movie, Soul. If you haven't seen it, to all the audience out there, check it out, man. So you had Soul for free on Disney Plus, Wonder Woman 84 for free for 31 days. And I feel like, going piggybacking back on what you said about Mulan, you had to pay the 24, 23 for Scooby-Doo. I mean, like if you're paying the subscription, which is like $20.15 or whatever it is, I think it was cool that HBO was like, hey, listen, we're going to put Wonder Woman 84 Christmas Day. You have 31 days to watch this before you have to like pay for it or we take it off or whatever.
Right.
I think that's cool that they're giving you, let's say, 10 days to watch this theatrical release on like, Netflix or Hulu or whatever streaming service it is, man.
Yeah.
I think it's awesome, man, because you're already paying money for that service. And I don't know, I'm thinking that this might be the wave of the future, man. And it's kind of sad because like me and you, Aaron, like the age that we're at, it's almost as if like we're seeing in our eyes the things that we grew up with just like disappearing, like Back to the Future when Marty's looking at that picture and fading away, man.
That's a great analogy. I mean, but you got to think like how many things have faded away, in the past 30 years, blockbusters. My son's never going to experience a blockbuster. And that was like what we looked forward to, on Friday nights, going to a blockbuster. Oh, this movie just got released. I wanted to see this movie, in my house, and then you looked at the wall of VHS tapes, right? But there was no rental cases behind them.
Right. Yeah,
like, oh, that was the worst. Or I want to play this video game. Oh man, there's no rental case behind the game. Like nobody, that was the biggest letdown as a kid on a Friday night. Oh, I guess I gotta play freaking Tiny Toon Adventures for the 18th time. I can't play the new G.I. Joe game,
Right.
And so like, I mean, you think of the past 30 years, how many experiences that like have changed over the years. I think I don't necessarily know if it's gonna be like bad. I think it's going to be a catch-22, right? I think it's going to be positive because it's like you can now sit at home, invite your friends over, especially once COVID is all done with and over with. Press a button and like, man, all right, let's watch this new movie that just got released.
Right.
Without leaving the comfort of your own home. But again, there's something to say about the experience, just like if you could watch a Red Sox game or a Bruins game in the comfort of your own home,
Yep.
like you don't have to leave. You could sit on and watch it, but there's a different experience when you go to the game and you're there, right? I think that's what movie theaters are gonna turn into. It's gonna be more of an experience, and I think AMC, Cinemagic, the Movico. I'm quoting. I don't know if they have Movicos up here. That's a Florida chain. Regal Cinemas. I think they're going to have to step it up. Now, I will say the Movico that we used to go to in Boca Raton, Florida, they had this experience, and I forgot the name of it, but it was in the balcony.
Okay.
You could get dinner, you could get food, you could get wine, you could get beer. You had your own personal seats, like they were like the couch seats, but you paid for that experience. You paid an extra like $20 a ticket, but you had your own waiter that came to like served you food.
Wow.
That was an experience.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We did that shit all the time because it was like, hell yeah. Like, all right, we're going to go watch freaking, whatever the new movie was at the time. It was probably, one of the first Avengers movies or, Spider-Man or whatever. Let's go watch Spider-Man, and let's upgrade. We're going to upgrade to this new thing. I think if, like Chunky's, right?
Yeah, Chunky's, yep.
The ticket prices are cheap. They make their money off of their food and their beverages.
Right.
But it's an experience. My wife and I and my son love going to Chunky's because it's like, all right, let's have dinner and a movie. I think that's going to be the way that movie theaters are going to have to make it. You're not going to have the seats where you're fighting over the armrests anymore. Make it a family experience after this is all over because, okay, sure, you could buy it at home, but going to the movies is an experience.
You know what's funny, Aaron, as you're saying that movie theaters are going to have to change up their marketing campaign and have it be like an experience. I'm picturing, remember like Truckosaurus and all those like motorcycle stunt guys would come on? They'll be like, hey kids, you better come out this Friday night and watch Spider-Man 8. But before you watch it, watch Truckosaurus come on and destroy the parking lot. Featuring the Harlem Globetrotters live.
But you know what? It's not a bad idea. Let's crush some cars. Let's watch a movie.
Crush some cars. Watch the Harlem Globetrotters spin the basketball with their nose for like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
While two guys are doing defense on one guy.
But I think that's what it's gonna. If movie theaters are gonna survive, like I saw somebody the other day that I don't know if they're doing it up here, but I guess his like biggest thing since COVID happened was like, maybe like yourself, like he wanted to go to the movies, so bad. Some movie theaters, wherever this guy lived, were renting out the movie theater for a movie, like a private showing, for like $100. So you have the whole movie theater to yourself. You can invite your friends, your family, whoever. It's like, okay, it's Steven Garcia's, movie theater for an hour. Or not for an hour, for that movie, Right. Okay, here's $100. If you did that in every movie theater, like they wouldn't be making the amount of money that they would be, but at least they're making some income, Yeah.
I definitely, you hit the nail on the head, Aaron. I'm definitely seeing movie theaters going more for that experience. You're just going for the experience, maybe making a date or out with the family. And I definitely see that, man. It's just going to be crazy 40, 50 years from now when, like, kids are around and we're, like, grandpas, and they're like, what? You used to go to a place where they actually had to, like, watch these things on a giant wall? Like,
the first thing that came to my mind is Back to the Future 2, where he's like, Wild Gunman? Oh, man, I love Wild Gunman. And he's like, pew, 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 crack shot. You have to use your hands? That's a baby toy.
That's right. I remember, man. Oh my God, such a great film, Back to the Future, man. But yeah, man. It's just been a crazy year with streaming services and movies and everything going on. But we've also had another crazy year, 2020, when it came to collectibles.
Oh yeah.
Let's talk about video games before we get into the toy talk, 'cause, oh man, that's gonna be Alice in Wonderland. It's gonna take us away on that toy collecting.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the PS5. Okay, Aaron, we've had a couple episodes talking about this, but let's look at the review of all the things that happened with the PS5. This thing dropped, and it was pandemonium in a pandemic state.
Yeah.
I mean, like, what was your reaction to everything you read about what was going on with the PS5?
I wasn't surprised at all because I worked at Best Buy when the PS4 dropped. And I got to see firsthand how freaking crazy people are and how many times, hello, this is Best Buy. How can I help you? Oh, do you have any PS4s? No, we don't have any PS4s. We have Xbox Ones. Would you like an Xbox Ones? Hell no, I don't want an Xbox One. We had every Best Buy when PS4 dropped. We had a case of Xbox Ones in the back that we could not get rid of. But PS4s were like out. It was nuts. So none of this shocks me, right? It still doesn't shock me that now, as of today, I hear people on the forums, oh, well, I went down to Massachusetts. I got an Xbox at 1S or whatever the hell. I don't even know what the new system's called, but Xbox X, S, whatever it is.
Xbox X carry with the 1 plus 2.
Yeah.
S.
The Pythagorean theorem, whatever. It's crazy, but you could get Xboxes pretty easy now. I want to say, at least that's what I'm hearing.
No,
I don't know.
You could, yeah, they're pretty easy to get.
But PlayStations, they're still the bots are hitting them, the scalpers are hitting them, everybody's hitting them. I think Sony, ever since Sony released the PlayStation 1 and kind of changed gaming in that aspect, everybody's really followed Sony really closely. Sony's quality and their quality control has always been top notch.
Yes.
Yeah, they had the issue, I think it was like with the PS4s with the white, the bricking issue, but it was very few compared to like the Xbox 360 and the red light of death that we talked about earlier. So I don't know. None of it surprised me. It surprised me that Sony is going to sell a superior product. People are going to want to buy Sony PlayStations more than Xboxes, and that people are going to go crazy for them. And I think when you release it in a pandemic, Sony was smart because I think they were like, oh yeah, we're gonna. You got stimulus money? Okay, we'll make sure you spend your stimulus money. What's the price of the PlayStation?
Oh, it's like, I think the PS5 is $500. I know my little brother just got his on Friday, and he ended up paying $709 for the bundle.
But what was our stimulus check?
$1,200.
Right.
Well, the first one was $1,200. This one was $600.
Right. But holiday season, you just got an extra $600. Let's go buy a PlayStation. They're smart. They're smart with their marketing. So none of it shocked me. I think that it's the one thing that did shock me was the Nintendo Switches going back crazy. When the pandemic started.
That shocked me too, and the prices are like $300-$400 still.
Yeah,
like for the Switches, like those things are still hot commodities. Like people still want Switches, man. Aaron, you said something prior. You said that the pandemic is one of the main issues when it came to the PS5, and you're right, because like if you think about it, people are stuck at home. Like it's a pandemic, you can't go anywhere. So what do you have? You have streaming services and video games. And I think that Sony, like you said, they're smart with their marketing. They were like, okay, we know there's a pandemic. We don't want people to get sick, so we're not going to have all these in stores. We're going to shell out a couple here and there so we can make it kind of safe. And I feel like because we're in this pandemic, and you're right, PlayStations in the past, they've all been crazy. PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4. But I think because of the current state that we're in right now when we're locked down, people want things more right away.
Oh yeah,
they want instant gratification.
Well, and that goes back to Amazon, and I'm going to blame Amazon for this. I'll get on my soapbox for a second because we came from the generation, that you went on eBay or you went on whatever and you bought it. Hell, eBay was new. I remember signing up for eBay when eBay first started. And I'm dating myself at this point. But, I digress. It's like, that instant gratification, right? It's that boom, boom. Okay, I'm going to click it. Oh, Amazon Prime, 2-day shipping. It better be here in 2 days. Oh, God forbid it's here in 3 or 4. I mean, like, it's just that that's society. We didn't have these as kids. Oh, you want an album? You go to the store. You buy it at a music store. You put in your cassette. I think the best analogy, and I think we talked about this a couple podcasts ago, was like if you wanted to record a song, like you can download a song now on your phone and listen to it however you want. You wanted a song back in the 80s and early 90s, you had to wait for it to play on the damn radio. You had to press record on the cassette. You better have that shit ready. And then, if you requested the song, it might not play for 2 hours, because the DJ was getting so many requests. So that instant gratification is like, boom, 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 I want it now. I want it now. I want it now. That just added to the PlayStation 5. That was just like, because that's the mentality now, is that like, oh shit, okay, I'm going to go online at midnight.
Yep.
I'm going to log into this computer and then boom, and They didn't account for bots, which we talked about before.
Bro.
They didn't account for greedy ass people like that one guy over in London or whatever that ordered like 600 of them.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't account for that. But
yeah, and it's funny that you say London because my little brother ended up telling me that in the UK you had gang members stopping Amazon trucks, jumping onto the trucks like a movie, and literally like
Vin Diesel. Was Vin Diesel there?
Some Fast and the Furious and just stealing these things. Like it's crazy to the point where the PS5, because of this pandemic, has gotten. And it's funny because my 2 brothers ended up getting it, and then my brother ended up getting his PS5 from GameStop. So on Friday, he goes, "Hey, it's coming Saturday morning." And I'm like, "What are you gonna do, man? You gotta make sure nobody grabs that when the FedEx guy." He goes, "Oh, I'm gonna be waiting out there. And I'm going to make sure I get it." So I'm just picturing my little brother, like he's sitting with a straw in his mouth with a shotgun on a rocking chair.
Back and forth.
And the FedEx guy's just walking by and my brother's like, "What you got there, boy?" And he's like, "Oh, somebody's package." "Yeah, why don't you drop that package right there and move along, all right?"
Well, that's funny you mentioned that because I remember when Amazon announced that they were doing their drones. They were going to like, okay, yeah, we're going to deliver it right to you, and it's going to fly away, whatever. And I saw a meme of like some guy with a shotgun, like, okay, what I get today, like shooting down these drones, and it's like, oh shit, I got diapers. I don't need no diapers. All right, what's the next one? Oh, an iPad. Okay, now we're cooking.
It's crazy. That's the point where we're getting, that people want things right away. We're gonna send a robot to your house to get.
Yeah. Well, there's places like I think it's L.A., New York, a couple like the big metropolis cities that Amazon has a big hub in, that you can order it. Like Amazon will deliver it like in a couple hours. Wow,
that's insane.
Like so, there was this one guy that he was walking around New York. And it wasn't this year. I want to say it was maybe last year or the year before. And Amazon, he was like promoting this new service that Amazon was doing. And he was going up to homeless people and saying like, "What do you need? What's something that you need?" And he was like ordering it. And he was like, "Okay, delivered on the corner of 3rd and Main or whatever." And these Amazon guys were coming there within an hour delivering socks and blankets and like stuff like that. And Offline TV, which is a YouTube channel, they were ordering some stuff as a prank. And it's like, "Oh, what do we need?" Oh, they were in LA. This was probably within the past 6 or 7 months. They said, "Oh, we need a keyboard, we need a mouse, we need this, we need that." And they ordered it, and it was like, "Oh, Amazon will be here in an hour and a half."
That is insane, man. That's what I call instant, internet power gratification right there.
Because you're not leaving your house, you're just pressing a button, boop, and it's being delivered to you.
The Amazon CEO, I forgot his name, the guy that freaking started it all and owns Amazon. He's the richest man in the world.
Yeah, Jeff Bezos.
Yes, Jeff. I pictured that his day when he wakes up in the morning, he looks out the window, grabs his cup of coffee, and he's like an evil villain. Like he takes the elevator to like the 118th floor, and he's sitting in his big throne.
Have you looked at a picture of him recently? It looks like Lex Luthor. Like
yeah, he's bald.
Yeah, he's bald.
Yeah, he's bald. Yeah, there we go. He's Lex Luthor.
Lex Luthor.
Like, hey guys. The CEO Amazon guy, he's Lex Luthor. Now all we're missing is Superman here.
Yeah.
But this guy is just loaded, and honestly, I'm very surprised that Walmart and Target are still around because I don't know if you heard, Aaron, but Walmart is trying to compete with Amazon with their online service. But I'm sorry, man, I don't think there's anybody that can take down Amazon right now unless they come out with something that Amazon isn't doing. Because right now, Amazon has Whole Foods, groceries, and they just started doing pharmaceutical medicine.
Yeah.
Like, it's medicine now.
Well, you got to think, and Amazon does something differently, and I think we've grazed upon it in past podcasts, but they do what's called FBA. And Amazon FBA is a very unique concept. And basically, a lot of, young entrepreneurs can make money off of this. And what people do is they go to, the retail stores, or you go to yard sales, or you go to flea markets, and you find new products, you scan them, and Amazon will say, okay, this is how much we sell the item for, this is how much we'll pay you for the item, and this is how much shipping and fees are, whatever. And a lot of you can go and be like, okay, and all you are doing as a consumer, or I guess you're kind of an offshoot of Amazon at that point, is stocking a warehouse. You're just sending this to a warehouse, but Amazon is not going out and seeking out these products. They have millions of people sending products to a warehouse and paying them a percentage. Let's say the item sells for $30, we'll give you $9,
Oh, okay.
So they're paying you a percentage of what the product sells for, or you can turn around and try to sell it on Amazon yourself and get a higher profit margin. So it's interesting because Amazon's basically whole kind of infrastructure is based off of a lot of it, especially the not newer items that are coming out today, but the older items. Like if you wanted to go online and order, I don't know, I'm just thinking about like my son, like a Paw Patrol set from, a couple years ago that's not in stores. You go on Amazon or eBay and try to find it. Well, people are stocking that as a consumer, right, sending that to a warehouse, and then it's just all barcodes. Okay, boop, ship, done, it's all done. So the consumer has a lot invested in Amazon, and that really it kind of boils down to why Amazon is getting these high ticket, big box, Whole Foods, pharmaceuticals, because it's kind of that like consumer driven, it's publicly traded, and it's successful.
Yeah, man. Wow. It's living in this pandemic world, like we said before, we want instant gratification. And with the PS5, piggybacking back to that and connecting it with Amazon, like everybody wanted this PS5. It was a hot item for 2020. For all of you listening, I'm going to say this. If you don't have a PS5, you're going to get one. Don't worry about it. You're going to end up getting a PS5. Please don't pay scalper prices. No. Don't go online and pay $1,200, $1,300 off some guy that bought like 9 of them. Yeah. Just wait. And honestly, yes, the PS5 graphics, they're pretty cool. I'm still trying to see what the major difference is between the PS4 and the PS5. I don't know. The graphics are just getting like... What were you gonna say, Aaron?
No, isn't there an asterisk next to the PS5? that like you have to have a TV that's 4K compatible?
Yeah, so it does 4K and 8K. So 8K TVs, the cheapest one you can get is $2,000. And I don't know too many people right now that have 8K TVs.
Well, you just got your stimulus check. You better go out there. You got $600 out of the 2,000. You know.
Hey, come on, government! I want to get my 8K TV.
Well, see, Trump was just trying to promote the $2,000 TV, the $2,000 stimulus check, no politics in this podcast, but it's just it's funny. Like, well, going back to that, like I was seeing somebody that like just had like I don't have a 4K TV. I don't even know if I have a 1080 TV. My TV's like 9 years old, 10 years old.
Yeah.
I don't know. It works. I'm not a fancy guy. I got a TV.
Here.
It works. It does what it needs. It's got HDMI. It does what it needs to do. But like people with older TVs, kind of like what we dealt with back in the 90s, and that kind of that, it's no longer the coaxial cable. You have the AV cables. Now it's not. You can't have the HDMI. You better have a 4K.
Right. Right. Yeah, it's funny, man, how we went from like coax to the AV audio video cables to now TVs coming with HDMI cables. And you know what? I'm so glad that TVs still have the AVs in the back.
Oh, yeah.
You have to have those AVs in the back, because I was getting kind of scared that we were going to get to the point with technology where even AV, red, blue, and yellow cables we're gonna be obsolete. Like I was gonna be like, okay, have we gotten to that point where we don't even have AV cables anymore? Like,
yeah,
because some HDMI cables do audio. Like, if you run your HDMI to your PS4, you're sending. Sorry, guys, this is my audio video background. You're sending the feedback from the graphics to the audio just on that one cable.
Right.
And to me, it's fascinating that one cable can do that.
Right.
You don't have to have audio and video, just like Nintendo back in the days or SNES. You needed both. So
yeah, but that's the world we live in. But I think that going back onto the original statement with how crazy PS5s are getting, I think it's just a sign of the times. But like you said, just wait. I think we talked about this before. I think it's about patience. Like there's going to be the people that want it now, that want it right this second, but they're going to pay the $1,300, the $1,400 that the scalpers. But hell, if I was able to get one at retail and somebody said, I'll give you 2.5 times what it's worth, I'd say, okay.
Me too. Okay.
Yeah. Here you go. I mean, because knowing that a couple months down the road, like when I bought my Switch, like I didn't get my Switch on day one. I remember I got it like, I don't know, 4 or 5 months later, and you still had to call GameStops and you still had to be like, hey, do you have any in stock? Yeah, they got them, but it was a little bit easier to get them back then. And, after 4 or 5 months go by, that's just going to be the same thing. Production's going to ramp up. People are going to, Sony is going to step up and say, hey, let's keep on producing these, which they're not going to stop producing. They did stop producing the PS4s, which I thought was a neat little, I guess, historic moment, because I think it was like the quickest halt to production of the PS4, like a PlayStation system in history, because they want to start producing more PS5s.
Wow, that is amazing. They stopped with the PS. Wow,
yeah. So there's no more. They're not going to produce any more PS4s. Whatever PS4s are out there.
Wow. So for all y'all listening, man, if you're not gonna trade in your PS4, you might as well just keep it. Just keep it as a backup or something. Well, that's interesting. I didn't know that, Aaron. But now, speaking of collecting and things that we want, let's get into the topic that's into our hearts, and that's action figures and toys. And 2020 was the year of struggles, the year of crying, the year of scalpers, the year of bots, the year of not finding what we want. I don't even know where to start with this, because I have so much to say about this, but I don't know. Aaron, in 2020, you going out there toy hunting. Now, For those of you listening, me and Aaron frequent the same flea market religiously every Sunday. During the spring and summertime, we're always there hitting it up. But when the winter time comes, me and Aaron, just like every other toy hunter, we want to collect those other figures, those modern figures, and we go to Walmart, we go to the Target, we go to the Walgreens where these exclusives action figures are releasing. And Aaron, in 2020, how was your toy hunting for these?
How was it? Is that what you asked? How was toy hunting in 2020? It was horrible. It was horrible. Like going into Targets and I think the one big hit, I don't know if it was the end of 2019 or maybe it was the beginning of 2020, but we lost Toys R Us. And I think that changed everything.
Yes.
You always had exclusives. You always had, even Toys R Us had their own exclusives. Okay, it's a Toys R Us variant or it's this whatever. Like, you're always going to have those special edition things, but not having a dedicated toy store. We grew up with KB Toys. We grew up with, Toys R Us. We grew up with walking into a toy store. Toy stores are non-existent anymore. Other than like our buddy Dave's shop, or like, retro shops, that are dedicated to like retro toys or current toys. There is no more big box chain toy store. You have Walmarts, you have Targets, you have Walgreens, you have, these big box stores that carry toys, but they are not a dedicated toy store. I think that says a lot, especially going into 2020 and beyond. Because toy hunting in general has always been difficult, especially, you can go back to watching, Jingle All the Way. You could go back to watching the Cabbage Patch fiasco. You could go back to watching, How the Toys Made Us and, the Power Rangers craze and the G.I. Joe craze and the Star Wars craze. When you're trying to find something that's popular in a store that isn't a toy store, like you have employees that just don't care because they're like, oh, it's a stupid toy. But if you had a toy store, the employees would understand the significance of that toy, right. and they just don't. And so toy hunting in 2020 has definitely brought its challenges. It's brought its frustrations, but also kind of like there's that sense of accomplishment or that sense of like pride once you finally, it's like, you find that you walk into the store and it's right there on the shelf and it's boom, that's what you're looking for. And it's like, oh my God, I found it. I don't know. It's a weird balance. It sucks. But when you're looking for it for so long and it's there, like the best, I'll cut it after this, but the best thing for me was hunting down that Baroness. That Baroness this year was driving me nuts.
And I was so happy that you found that, man. I was like, wow, that's amazing.
But it was because of this stupid thing. It wasn't. It was because of the resources that are online. That Pop Finder website that was like, okay, type in the DPCI number in Target, boom, Target's got one of them. I drove there that day and it's like, oh, here it is, and the guy went in the back. When the guy went in the back and I saw him walking out with it, Steve, I was like, oh my God. Like I was like, it was in the back. It was tucked away wherever it was, and it was like, okay, I finally, and I ran to the front, checked out, and I got out of there, but it was like, and I remember like sending you guys pictures. I was like, I found it. So it's weird, right? It sucks because you don't have these dedicated toy stores anymore, and everything's an exclusive. Right. But at the same time, when you find that piece that you're looking for, and it's like, oh my God, here it is, it's like that sense of just accomplishment.
Yeah, man, it's. I feel the same. Toy hunting, like you said, has become almost like Indiana Jones, where it's like you are going on these like excavating missions to find these holy grails like the Temple of Doom. You got your map, and your map is your cell phone. And like you're out there hunting, waiting to find this relic that you're looking for, and when you find it, you're just like so happy, man. And 2020 for everybody that collects action figures has been tough, because one of the things that's really rough is that you have, like, let's say G.I. Joe. It's exclusive only to Walmart. Hey, you're gonna get Duke, Lady J. It's coming out at Walmart and exclusive. So you got everybody rushing to Walmart. These are exclusives. Or hey, Target exclusive, right. Walgreens exclusive, Amazon, even Best Buy with Mandalorian have Best Buy exclusives. Mm-hmm. So it's like you have to run around to all these places to try to find all these exclusives. And in my mind, I'm like, this is why, like you said, Aaron, I miss Toys R Us. You have one dedicated place, right, to just find what you're looking for. And now not having that Toys R Us, you have all these toy stores like these NECA, Super 7, Premium DNA. You have all these exclusive third parties toy developers like sending out all of these to all these stores, and everything is catered to people in their mid-30s to early 40s. Yeah. We are the ones that are buying this stuff. We are the ones buying Masters of the Universe, G.I. Joe, Ken Real Ghostbusters, everything Transformers. Like, it's catered to the adult collectors.
Yeah.
And I've said this before in the podcast. If you are into Star Wars, there's a good 90% that you are also into G.I. Joe. And if you might be into G.I. Joe, then there's probably another 50% that you're into Transformers. So most collectors are collecting for either 2 or 3 other lines. Some people are not just focusing on one thing; they're focusing on either everything or 3 lines.
But not only that though, and I've done this too. If I go in a store and I see something that maybe is a high demand item at the time, whether it's Ghostbusters, whether it's Star Wars, whether it's whatever, I might just pick that up to try to trade for the other thing. And a lot of people are doing that too. It's like, I might not, like, sure, I collect Star Wars, but there may be that Black Series figure. Like, if you see the Black Series Mandalorian figure right now that everybody's after with the freaking Baby Yoda, like, everybody's after that right now. And if you see that, it's like, okay, I got one, but I really want, the Baroness, or I really want that G.I. Joe Cobra Viper that just came out. It's like, all right, well, I got this. Let's see if I can trade it for that. So you have all these toy collectors kind of like going, well, what can I get, to try to get this goal or this achievement? Because, and we talked about this earlier about, that guy buying G.I. Joes, buying 10 of them. Well, I got all 10, well, what are you going to give me? And it's weird, man. It's really strange. And, we've talked about this as toy collectors before, even collecting retro stuff. You just look behind you, and eventually when I get my setup, I'll have my setup behind me too. I gotta flex my toy. I got this crate behind me, But like, you got He-Man, you got Voltron, you got Ninja Turtles, you got Ghostbusters, you got Food Fighters, you got everything back there. And we're not, when we go to the flea markets or we go to the stores, we're not like, I'm only looking for Food Fighters. I'm only, look at that Castle Grayskull. I'm not buying. No, I'm not buying that. No, I'm only looking. We don't shit. No, that's from the 80s or 90s. Okay, I'm buying it. That looks cool. Oh, Earthworm Jim. All right, I'm buying it. It's like and I think that's the kind of the cool thing of growing up when we did, and it's. Going back to, it's that double-edged sword. It's like, man, we had so many cool things in the 80s and 90s, and okay, what do you collect?
Right. And it's just so much. Like, we had so much cool things in the, like you said, in the 80s and 90s. Like kids growing up these days, like, everything back then was catered with a cartoon and a toy line.
Right.
Or it was the toy line first, then they made a cartoon out of it, and it was just advertising in the 80s. Hey kids, you love G.I. Joe? Then here, you must love G.I. Joe cereal with marshmallows and little hand grenades, and you're like, oh my god, I gotta eat that cereal, going crazy, everything was catered towards us.
That was the good shit. That was like, like that was okay. You had all these weird cereals. Like I got a Batman cereal downstairs that came with like the Batman piggy bank, and it's like, I mean, there was so many like little gimmicks like that. All right, oh well, what's the new TV show? The A-Team. All right, A-Team cereal. All right, we got the A-Team the lunchbox, kind of like going back to Spaceballs. Spaceballs the lunchbox. Spaceballs the flamethrower. Spaceballs this, But like, I mean, collecting in 2020 has just kind of like taken everything that we love and just thrown it at the wall, right? It's like, oh, you want NECA Gremlins? Poof, here you go. Oh, you want NECA Turtles? Poof, here you go. But like if you looked at a map of the United States and like distribution, I think somebody literally just took like spaghetti sauce and threw it at the map and said, okay, New York and New Jersey, they get like 2. New Hampshire and Massachusetts get 1. Ohio gets 75. I mean, like, it's crazy because, like, talking about like 2020, the distribution has been horrible.
And that's the problem. So we all know that NECA is a hot company, and NECA puts out a lot of things. And as a matter of fact, there was a YouTube channel called Retro Blasting, and Michael Mercy, who's the host on that show. So what he was saying is that NECA, even though they're a good toy line, they've had problems with their painting and their sculpts and things falling apart and like customers complaining. I haven't had a problem with NECA. I love NECA. I think NECA does a lot of awesome things, and I collect NECA. But the thing with NECA is that, and NECA knows this too, is that these turtle lines, like, I haven't received my Toka and Razar yet because like they're still backed up from all these orders, and people were supposed to get them in the holidays. I haven't got mine yet, but NECA puts out great detail and sculpting on their figures. So when you're getting Toka and Razar, you are literally getting Toka and Razar just like they looked in Ninja Turtles 2. like the attention to detail, and they do the cartoon series, they do the movie series, they do the video game series. And I got a list here, Aaron, because not just NECA, but like 2020 was the year for Masters of the Universe Origins. Right. That was another line that was at Walmart, and everybody was buying like I don't know. Did you pick up any of those?
No, because I'm probably get crucified for this, but I'm not a big He-Man person.
Yeah.
Like if I pick up He-Man, it's mainly to trade or whatever. Like I remember I bought a bunch of He-Man from Dave at the beginning of 2020 when the flea market reopened, and like what was that, May or June, and even Dave looked at me and was like, "You don't collect He-Man," and I was like, "I know, but there's nothing else out there. I need stuff to trade." Like, right. So like he's like, "Why are you buying this?" And I was like, "I need something," And so no, I didn't buy any of the He-Man stuff that I did buy because I thought it was cool. Were the tiny little guys, the little. They came in like the Castle Grayskull and the Snake Mountain little kind of blind boxes. But then there was a website you could cheat and look at the code on the bottom so you knew which one you were buying. So I got He-Man, I got Skeletor, and I got Faker. I was still looking for the gold armor Skeletor because it looks cool. But I mean that's probably the only He-Man thing that I bought. But I like those little like blind box vinyl figures that are about that big. That kind of stuff is cool. I like those because it's good kind of like shelf filler.
No, I love those too. Those are pretty cool, man. Like the little blind boxes, because you don't know what you're gonna get, whether it's Skeletor or Man at Arms.
You don't know what you're gonna get until you look up the codes online, and it'll tell you.
And it tells you the code on the box, exactly what it is. Yeah. Hey man, what a new age, man. We gotta play the game so we can win. So
yeah.
So we had Masters. Obviously, we had G.I. Joe Classified series. That was a big major. I mean, you picked up Baroness.
Speaking of Masters, before we get into G.I. Joe, because I got a lot to say about G.I. I'm bitter. The WWE did Masters. Yes. They came out with their Masters line this year, and I love that. I picked up Wave 1, Wave 2,
nice,
and the ring. never saw Wave 3 in the store. Wave 3 or 4 never hit the stores up here. I don't know why. Yeah. Never saw them in stores. I saw them being scalped like all hell, but never saw them in the stores. So, but the WWE Masters of the Universe line, like I really enjoyed that. I thought that was really cool this year. But again, never saw the last 2 waves that they released.
Right. Yeah, those are cool actually because they did WWE Masters and they also did a Ghostbuster one too for WWE.
They did. I ended up finding 2 of those. I think I got I got The Rock and I got John Cena. But there was The Rock, there was John Cena, there was Shawn Michaels, and I forget who the 4th. Oh, Stone Cold was the 4th, and then the Ghost was Undertaker. Yeah,
the Ghost was Undertaker. Yeah, that was pretty cool, man. Yeah, I didn't pick up any of those. I should have, but those are pretty cool, man. Like I love how they mixed these franchises that we love into like the wrestling. So that's pretty cool.
Last year they did turtles. Like they did like good sized turtles, and they like I think it was like almost like 8 or 10 inches, and it was WWE characters.
I didn't even know that.
I got a couple of them. There was like Donatello. I think or maybe it was Raph as the Undertaker. Like I think somebody was Stone Cold. I think it was maybe Mikey was Stone Cold. Like they had a WWE Ninja Turtle crossover. I'll show you a couple of them after the show. I got 3 or 4 of them,
man. Yeah, see, that's pretty awesome. Wow. I'm a Turtles fan just like you. I didn't even know about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we had also G.I. Joe Classified series, and you picked up, the Baroness. But that's another, like, I have to go on Big Bad Toy Store because Big Bad Toy Store, they're doing all the back orders for the ones that people missed. You can go on there right now and pre-order everything you missed because, like, there was so much stuff I couldn't find at Target. I couldn't find any of this stuff.
But you just don't. I don't know when they're gonna produce more. Like I ended up seeing like Wave 1 at Walmart. I want to say like late November. Like it was Duke and Scarlet. And I was like, wow. Like it was Duke, Scarlet, and Snake Eyes. And so it was like 3 out of the 5 from Wave 1. And I was like, wow. Like I haven't seen these on pegs anywhere. Like, okay, this is kind of cool. Like I was like, well, maybe they're still producing them. And then nothing. I have not seen any of the waves at all. And now, we talked about this before the show, the first of the year, there were 2 more Target exclusives, the Cobra Viper and Firefly. And I got a text, we were talking about this before the show. I got a text from my buddy. Hey, did you go out? Did you score any of these? I was like, it's the first of the year. I just got off work. Like, what? Like, did these get released? And he's like, yeah. And I went on eBay and talking about scalping, and the Cobra Viper is already up to like $120. It's a $20 retail figure, and the Firefly is up to about $80. And it's like, come on. And these Target exclusive figures, I don't know what it is. I own all of the first wave of Target exclusives, and I found them all in the stores, luckily enough. But they go for stupid money.
Yeah, it's gotten to the point, Aaron, where it's not that I'm gonna stop toy hunting, but I'm on that mindset that if I'm at Walmart, Target, getting something, I'll go to the toy store. If it's there, it's there.
Right.
If it's not, it's not. But
right.
I woke up at 6:30 in the morning 2 weeks ago just to try to find that NECA ref of Krang at Target.
Yeah.
Woke up, got there at 7:25, nothing. So it's like I woke up at 6:30 in the morning on my day off for nothing because it's not there. Then there's a Walmart across the street. Guess what? All the pegs are gone too. So I'm to the point right now where I'm just like, you know what? Like I'm not gonna stress it. Like if I have to buy it off eBay, if I have to get it from Big Bad Toy Store, I'm just gonna go that route. And if I bump into it, like I did with the Kenner Real Ghostbuster Spangler.
Right.
I bumped into it, I picked it up, but I'm not going to be now waking up early in the morning like I used to just to toy hunt, man.
Yeah, I think, but that's kind of the sad reality of it, right? Like, going back to like what we talked about earlier about like not having a dedicated toy store, because not having a Toys R Us really hinders that experience, because like hell, I can't remember how many times I walked into Toys R Us and it's like, and the whole wall is there. You know, it's like, oh, you want WWE figures? Here you go. Oh, you want, you know, like as a kid going up and like getting like Ninja Turtles, it's like, oh, you want Ninja Turtles? Here you go. Like, go walk into a Walmart or a Target right now, because in the past week, since Christmas has been over, you know, like the pegs are bare. There's nothing.
Yeah, there's nothing.
There's nothing. And it's like, okay. Like, as a kid right now, like my son had $25. He got a $25 gift card from one of his friends for Christmas, which, you know, we're super thankful for. And he's like, I want to go to Target. And I said, okay, let's go. There's nothing on the pegs.
Yeah, literally.
And so he's just, you know, at 6 years old, he's like, well, you know, he wants something. So he's like, well, I think I'll get that. And I was like, buddy, just wait. Just wait like 2 or 3 weeks. Just wait a couple weeks. Let them restock. Right. But as a kid, you know, you're like, well, where's the toys? You know, I always call Savers and Goodwill the toy store, because you can go into a Savers up here, especially the one in Manchester, and the toy section is packed.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, yeah, it's all used goods, but it's like, all right, well, here, bud, pick out something that you're going to play with here versus going to the store and spending, you know, a stupid amount of money for something that you really don't want.
Yeah. And, you know, like, hearing that from your son, like, you can tell from the tone of his voice, like, whoa, I think I want this. It's kind of like he's just like, well, maybe I should just pick something up while we're here.
Right.
You know, and I'm glad that you, like, you know, you being a toy collector yourself is like, just wait, son, you know, let's just wait 2-3 weeks so you get what you really want, you know.
Yeah.
And that's awesome, man, because, like, yeah, I went to Walmart and today also, and it was like the pegs were, and the clearance section were gone. There was like nothing. Right. It was like bare bones, like. So yeah, like, oh man, I'm really hoping that 2021. One of my biggest dreams is that somebody reopens up Toys R Us. Oh my God!
I guess they're still open in Canada.
Yes, Canada still has Toys R Us. Oh, please, can somebody here, Amazon, somebody with money, open up Toys R Us? And you know what it is? I think it's the fact that, like you said, we're in a different generation where kids aren't really playing with toys like that anymore. Yeah. And a lot of these toys are being made for us. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm not seeing an 8-year-old, hey, can I get a can of real Ghostbusters for Christmas? Right. Hey, can I get a Baroness? Like, right. No, man. Like, it's us. And the sad part about that is that in 20 years, I'm going to be 59 years old, close to 60. Yeah. So in 20 years, like, is this stuff even gonna be around? Like, kids are not gonna know. Like,
it will be. It will be. There's. We talked about this before, and you know, I sent you a few pictures the other day of me playing with the old school Ninja Turtles with my son. It'll be around. My son came up to me the other day, and tomorrow we're gonna go back downstairs. He's like, Daddy, remember we went downstairs and we played with the foot soldiers? And I said, yeah, I remember that. He's like, that was a lot of fun. And I was like, okay, cool. He's like, can we do that again? And I was like, oh yeah, we'll do that again, you know. And I set up like a WWE ring, you know, and I just gave him like a Rocksteady and a Bebop and like just like random figures that I had downstairs. And he was like wrestling with them and body slamming them, you know, and like, it's up to us, like you said, I think you said it in the text, it's up to us to like make sure that next generation appreciates that, you know. And like, sure, can I think of like, it's hard for me as a toy collector because I'm like, oh shit, he's playing with like some $30-$40 figures. You know? But I mean, because he's got 2 foot soldiers with their weapons and he's like slamming them together. Right. As like a toy collector, I'm like going, oh man.
No, that's original Boba Fett. It's original.
You know, but I'm like, I got how many foot soldiers? You know, I sent you the picture. I probably got 15 or 20 foot soldiers. You know, and it's like, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but like I got plenty of foot soldiers. So if he's gonna take 2 of them and slam them together for a couple minutes, that, you know, because you know they were already played with, you know, back in the day anyways, then if he gets enjoyment out of that, then that's like, then I'm doing my job as a father. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but I think going like now he's showing that interest, wanting to go downstairs into kind of like the toy area and be like, oh, I want to play with this or I want to play with that. I gave him some old wrestling guys and he was wrestling with them, and I think, that's going to stick with him. That's going to stick with him at some point where he's going to see that picture and be like, oh, I was playing with that foot soldier. 20 years later, he's going to be like, I want a foot soldier because that reminds me of that time, just like we do. The reason we don't collect just because we collect, we're collecting for the memories. We're collecting for the feelings. We're collecting for the nostalgia. And it brings us back to 1985, 86, 87, whatever, and then opening that toy on Christmas Day or your birthday, and you're going, oh my God, Mask. Oh my God, Ninja Turtles, and it just brings you back.
Yeah. And that's awesome, man, that your son's playing with the turtles and he's enjoying it. And it's true. Like when he gets older and he's like, 25 or 30, he's like, man, I want to collect like those turtles that I used to play with my dad, because this is the memory he had and made him happy. And for us toy collectors, we do this because it's memories of us. Like me looking back on my shelf and seeing Foo Fighters and Muscle Man and all the stuff from the 80s and Mask, and it's just like, I look at it and it brings me back to a time where we had no worries and all we had to worry about was homework and, playing video games and, and that's why we do this, man. And I'm hoping that for 2021, toy collecting, everybody, for all these for anybody listening out there as a toy collector, I'm hoping that everybody gets what they want. Hopefully some of these companies realize like, hey man, let's just make these things available online a little bit more easier for these collectors to collect, man. And I'm hoping that things, get back to a stable place and for the world to get back to normal. Because Aaron, you mentioned this in the beginning of the podcast. When I saw Times Square empty like that, it was something historical. Like every time I was a little kid and they would broadcast New Year's on TV, 1988, 1989, 1990, you see all these people, and for the first time, empty. Yeah. All they had was first responders, and it hit me. It was just like, wow, I forgot that we're still living in this world like this, and I'm hoping that next year, movies, video games, toys, people lost their jobs, they get their jobs back. I'm hoping that everything just comes back to normal, man. So
yeah, I think we're all hoping for that. I mean, we sit here and we have the luxury of talking about toys and we have the luxury of talking about video games, and there's people out there struggling, just to make sure that there's food on the table right now. We are the, the few that are kind of, trying to, further ourselves in this time. And I think that, like you said, you hit the nail on the head. For 2021, we hope that everybody gets what they're looking for, what they're asking for. But ultimately, having your health and having your family and having your kind of that sense of just, peace at some point, I think that's the most important. And I mean, like I said, we have the luxury of saying, oh man, like I was able to get, G.I. Joe, or, I was able to find this or find that, or it was a struggle. I mean, there's people who are struggling with stuff every day. I think everybody's struggling, even myself, we're all struggling with something, internally. It's just, I think you and I, we're kind of two peas from a pod. We want to be able to try to, kind of be like, find something that brings us that happiness back. But I mean, I think we've talked about this before in the podcast too, of like, that's kind of what the pandemic has kind of changed. The mentality is everybody's trying to just hold on to something, whether it's toys, whether it's video games, whether it's movies, whether it's just, something. They're just trying to hold on to something to get them through to the next day, and I think that's where you saw, this kind of, resurgence of all of this 80s, 90s, you know, because we talked about this before. 80s and 90s toys right now are freaking stupid money.
Yep.
Stupid money because everybody's going, oh man, I just want that one toy that brought me that much joy, or that one video game that brought me that much joy. You know, because everybody's trying to cling onto something, or at least bring some sort of happiness back into the household, even if the rest of the world is falling apart.
Yeah. Man, that I couldn't have said it better than that, Aaron. But yeah, man, I want to wish everybody out there listening on the podcast. We're on the 2-hour mark soon, but I just want to wish everybody out there listening a very happy, healthy, and safe new year for 2021. Hopefully, you know, things get better. Hopefully the world gets back to a normal place. But yeah, man, I'm looking forward, man. I'm looking forward to 2021 toy collecting. We're January, February, March, April. We're like 3 to 4 months away from the flea markets opening up again.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. You know, that
unless you want to go to Salem, and Salem's open year round.
I went there 3 weeks ago, and I won't go back. I can never find anything there, so I'm all set. I'm a loyal customer and supporter of our regular frequent flea market. So
yeah, I got one of my coworkers. We recently connected, and he likes going to the flea market, so we have that overlap in our lifestyles. And he goes to Salem religiously. He's there every week. And so I said, all right, bud, if you see this, you got to let me know, you know, if you see that, you know. So he's been scouting out the past couple of weeks. He hasn't found anything yet, but, you know, he said, okay, if I see it, I'll text you. I was like, all right, cool. Because I haven't gone to Salem, but I heard it's different. It's
you're not going to find how we find toys and 80s stuff there. It's a lot of things like shoes, clothes, old furniture.
Yeah.
Like it's very, you'll see toys, but it's like, you know, like modern kind of cheap stuff that you're not really want, or
right.
like kids' little toys. You know, it's kind of hard to find. Hey, Masters of the Universe! Oh my God, G.I. Joe!
Yeah.
Like that's and believe me, I've been going there for 2 years and I haven't found anything like that yet. So
yeah,
you know.
Well, speaking, kind of going off on a little tangent.
Yeah.
What was your favorite pickup, or maybe a few of your favorite pickups this past year?
That's a good question. So one of my favorite pickups. So I'm gonna have to say that, and again, I'm going back to NECA. I'm gonna say pickups from modern and then retro. So retro meaning what I found at the flea market. I will say that number one will be the Super Shredder that I picked up from NECA, and number two, Tokon Razar. So Super Shredder, Tokon Razar from NECA. Number three, when it comes to retro, would be our great friends Ben and Jake. I got that whole lot of Mask vehicles for like $75 to $80, and Mask has been going up in prices.
Yeah.
Because the Thunder Hawk that I got with Matt Tracker, I got it off Transformer Land for like $30.
Yeah.
Now that thing is going for like 140, 150 with a broken door. Not even with the that's a broken door. Like, so for some reason, Mask vehicles went up. So yeah, Super Shredder, Tokon Razar, Mask, and the last retro figure, I gotta say, and I'm looking at let me turn around real quick.
He's stuck.
I gotta say, and it was from you, Aaron. You and Dave hooked me up with the Extreme Dinosaurs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because the Street Sharks and Extreme Dinosaurs, I could not find those, and the fact that I got those this year, it was awesome. So those are like my pickups. But honorable mention, because I did give this figure to you, and this is a figure that it was found in the wild, was the Ecto Glow Peter Bateman.
Oh yeah.
That is an honorable mention because that was one of the biggest finds, and I was just like, "Whoa, there's an Ecto Glow right now in front of my face."
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my honorable mention. What about you?
So I think for me, modern was G.I. Joe Classified, finding all the Target exclusives, the Baroness. The Baroness was like that was like the cherry on top. I mean, modern, because you know me, like I'm not. I mean, I think before G.I. Joe Classified, I really wasn't hunting down modern. You know, like it was. Yeah. I didn't collect NECA. I didn't collect, Super 7. I wasn't really collecting a lot of modern. I would pick up a few Marvel Legends here and there. I did find the Marvel Legends Deadpool.
Yep.
But it was the new one with the pirate. I think we talked about that. So like that was cool. But yeah, definitely the G.I. Joe Classified took over 2020. I can't remember if this happened. It's weird because like I'm trying to go back in my head. Like it was the Black Series Star Wars. I think it happened right before the pandemic because I still remember it being like cold out and like I got the white version of the Mandalorian of the Black Series, like the white box.
Yep.
And I got the carbonized from Target.
Nice.
Like I got those the same day. And I was like, okay, cool, because I just happened to be going online, and it was like carbonized version Boba Fett releasing at Walmart or Target. And I went there in the morning, picked it up, and then I went to another store, and I found the white box Mandalorian. So I want to say that was this year, but it's just weird how. You try to figure that out. But honorable mention will be the Rogue, the Uncanny X-Men Rogue figure that I picked up because I'm a sucker for Rogue. But it's funny because now everybody's hunting that figure. I don't know why. You go. I went to 2 Targets in the past couple days hunting down the new G.I. Joes, and the Pegwarman Storms are there. All the Storms are there.
Yep.
You can't find a Rogue. So I'm really happy that like I was able to find a Rogue, when it came out. So that's probably my modern retro this year. Ecto Glow, that's top because now I'm just missing one. And so like that's the race stance, and I got that saved in my search history on eBay. Nice. So hopefully one pops up soon. I want to say those cardboard cutouts of the Ninja Turtles.
Oh, I went crazy when you sent me that. You know what? Yeah, that's got to be up there, man, for retro finds. Like that, to find those cardboard movie cutouts for the price you got is insane.
Well, and that was the crazy thing too. Like I think the story, and I can't remember if I said it on the podcast or didn't earlier, but when I texted the guy because I saw him at a yard sale, he posted it on Facebook, and I said, "Hey, will you?" I was still at work, and I was like, "I'm getting out of work in a few minutes. Like, can you hold these for me? I'll pay." I think I offered him like $100, or no, I offered him $50. I was like, "Hey, how about $50? Can you hold these cardboard cutouts for me?" And he's like, "Ha ha ha! How about $100 or something like that?" Right? And I was just like, "Okay. Like I'm not gonna pay $100 if they're still there when I go there. I'll go there." And then I ended up getting there at like 11 o'clock. I mean, it was really late in the morning. It wasn't. It was like 10 or 11 o'clock. And I get there, and he still got them. And I said he didn't recognize me because I had my mask on.
Right.
And so I said, "Hey, how much are the cardboard cutouts of the Ninja Turtles?" He was like, "Oh, how about $10?" And I'm like,
"What?
What?" I'm like, "What?" Like, I texted you earlier offering you $50.
Right.
You said how about $100? And now you're saying they're $10? I'm like, okay, here's $10. And I remember I gave him $10. I threw him in the car, and then I continued to like look around the yard sale because I was like, this is weird. I don't know what's going on.
Eric, I'm gonna call you Zartan, the master of disguise.
with you don't know who I am.
He didn't recognize you. He's like G.I. Joe. Every time they pull off their face masks, it's like, oh, there it is.
Like Scooby Doo. I would have got away with it if it were your pesky kids.
I mean, that's awesome that you get it for $10. Like,
yeah,
that's insane. Like these cardboard cutouts are from like the 90s, and to find listen, I've searched Turtles cardboard cutouts on eBay, 2,000, 3,000. Like, nobody's making those things anymore. So like for you to find that, that's crazy.
And it was kind of cool because the Raphael was from the Ninja Turtles first movie. It was it was part of the standee from the first movie. And then the Leonardo, Michelangelo, and I think there was another Raphael. That's what kind of threw me off, was I thought it was all one.
Okay.
But it was, the Raphael was from the first movie.
Right.
And then the rest of it was from Secret of the Ooze. And so I was like, okay, cool. So like I got a couple, but and then I got that huge turtle flag, that Say No to Drugs turtle flag.
Yeah.
I got that for free. Like that was, the lady was just giving that away. She's like, I don't want to throw this away. It was on Facebook Marketplace. And I remember calling my wife and I was like, I don't know where I am right now. I'm in the middle of nowhere. Like, can you please just like make sure that my son and you know that I love you very much? Like, and I remember she hung it on the end of her mailbox, and I was like, oh no, somebody's gonna take it, right? I'm like, you know, somebody's gonna take it, but I got there and it was there, and I mean, it was that huge. It was like 6 foot by like 8 foot. It's like turtles, say no to drugs.
So that's something that you put in your man cave, like what you're told.
Well, so once I get situated downstairs, because I got that system put in downstairs, I gotta get some sort of heating downstairs when we do the podcast. That's gonna be the background. It's gonna be that turtles say no to drugs.
Oh, that's gonna be so amazing! I'm so jelly right now. I'm jelly right now, man. Oh, that's, you know what? Those finds, they're up there. That's a good find. Like the cardboards, the Ectoglow, and the Say No to Drugs thing. Because man, I remember. Do you remember that cartoon show when we were kids? It was Cartoon Heroes to the Rescue. It was like Slimer, Ninja Turtles, like Bugs Bunny. It was all these cartoons together, and it was like Say No to Drugs.
Right.
Like you can watch it on YouTube. It's from the 90s.
Yeah.
But they all got together because some kid got introduced to marijuana, and they were like, Michelangelo's like, "Hey, dude, you know that's on cool, man." Like, and then Slimer's like, oh man, so that's awesome, dude. It just reminds me of like that time, you know, like saying no to drugs. And it's funny, for Christmas they ended up giving me a Dare fanny pack for Christmas, saying say no to drugs. So I was wearing that fanny pack today and it was pretty cool. I'm so proud, like, yeah, I'm a Dare kid. I say no to drugs.
You found, that was the other thing. Well, like, you know, I loved it. I found it this year. It was the MC Hammer fanny pack.
Oh my god! Oh my! Please tell me that you wore that at least once, Aaron.
Well, secretly, yes. I haven't had a chance to wear it out yet, but yeah, no. Maybe you know what? So first week of the flea market, I'm wearing my MC Hammer fanny pack to the flea,
and I'll wear my Say No to Drugs Dare Kids fanny pack.
There we go. We'll be the fanny pack squad.
We'll be two big kids fanny pack squad at the flea market. Oh man!
Hey, look, the FPS. Fanny pack squad.
Fanny pack squad. Watch out, 21.
Now we got to get Dave one. Dave's got to get one.
A Masters of the Universe one for Dave.
Oh, man, he'd go ape shit.
Oh man, but hey man, this was awesome.
Yeah.
I just want to say, you know, I couldn't do this show without you. You know, and I'm glad that we've been doing this show. And in June we'll have a year of doing this, and it's kind of fast. I'm thinking about it now. I'm like, man, really, June will be a year of this? Like. You know, it's funny because Spotify sent me this year in review for our podcast. We did 1,283 minutes. And I'm like, that's a lot of minutes. So it's funny because, like, you know, we always, you know, and to our viewers and to anybody listening, we always talk like, okay, here's what we're going to talk about, right? We always say, all right, this is what we're going to talk about. We kind of map out the show. That shit goes out the window minute 2. You know, minute 2 of the podcast, we're already on these tangents. Like, I need like somebody in the wings, like you know what, like my wife being like, you need to get on track, you know, because like it's funny because we talk about this, right? And we're like, all right, we're gonna talk about movies, we're gonna talk about
we didn't even talk about like half the shit that we said we were going to talk about. We're going to talk about movies, TV shows, this, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, all right, here we are 2 hours later. And, you know, we just went off on this amazing show. But like I can't do this without you. And it's amazing and it's fun. And I can't believe that we've already been doing it for, 8 months, and it just seems like it just went boom, boom, boom. But I can see how Spotify said we have 1,000 hours of content already because of this, or not 1,000 hours, but 1,000 minutes of content because of this,
Yeah, it's so true. It's true for the audience listening. We always map out the show before we talk, and that stuff gets thrown out the window. Me and Aaron just keep talking about all these tangents and things that are going on, but that's what makes the show great, and that's why I love doing the show with you, because like we understand each other, we know how to flow, we know what we're talking about, and it's just so much fun. But with that, I just want to tell everybody Happy New Year. Stay safe, happy toy hunting. Aaron, before we go, is there anything you want to tell the audience?
I think I said it all. I mean, I normally have to have this I like to have this super positive message at the end of the show. But no, I mean, everybody stay safe, wear your masks, do your part, social distance. But I think it all boils down to just mental health. Do whatever makes you happy, but just do it safely. I mean, I think that I see a lot of people trying to do extracurricular activities or get together with friends. And I am all for that because mental health is the number one thing right now. But just make sure whatever you do, just do it safely. And, let's all get through this together. And, we've already come this far. Let's just continue to keep on moving forward.
Yes. And with that, we are out of here. We'll see everybody in 2021.